Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I have more Trump regrets to share with you, more FAFO experiences. Before I get into the details, though, please do me a big favor. Hit the subscribe button below this video. It is free. It really, really helps the show. So I greatly appreciate that. And to everyone who donates or who's a monthly member, really, really appreciate you. You truly help to keep the show going. So thank you very much. So, first up, I have a clip from a recent focus group of North Carolina swing voters. So, what you're going to hear is a little bit of a back and forth between two of the focus group participants, and they're talking about their concerns about the economy. So, take a listen to this.
Being told just to wait and it'll get better. And how long do we have to wait? We have no time frame. We don't know when things are going to get better, when prices are going to go down, when rents aren't going to be astronomical. They give us no idea.
No, he has no plan for that. While these tariffs are in place and inflation is up, we're going to do this for the Americans. No, there's not a single word of that. It's just suck it up.
Right.
If I had $4 billion, great. I could suck it up indefinitely, but I don't.
Yeah. So again, those were swing voters. So they were people who voted for Biden in 2020 and then switched to Trump in 2024. They are not feeling the effects of Trump's genius economic moves that he likes to pretend he's been making. Next up is a man who replied to a Twitter post about the Trump administration and how they're pushing for gerrymandering in Texas and other places to try to prevent Democrats from taking back the House in the midterms. So this man said, quote, "Honest Trump fan here, and I have to admit that I regret voting for him. I think I speak for all of my fellow Republicans." Some people had an issue with that. Some of them were like, "Oh, you don't speak for me." But yeah, he did get some support. I also found a tweet from a man who wrote, quote, "Trump signs executive order to remove homeless people, hashtag Washington, D.C. Is he going to line them up and shoot them because they are homeless? I bet some of them are veterans. I regret voting for Trump." And then a man from Kentucky responded to a tweet about Donald Trump's EPA rescinding climate change legislation. And this person said, quote, "Idiocracy is here. I regret voting Trump." Or I regret voting for Trump, excuse me. That person looked too old, at least from their photo. I don't know, it could have been their father, but they look too old not to recognize how bad Trump was in his first term on the whole environmental issue. So, shame on them for not paying attention. This next person's post was really interesting. So, as I started reading it, I thought that there was going to be the typical oh, Trump excuses and typical Trump cult member, marinating in their own Kool-Aid over Donald Trump's approval rating. But no, this person knows what's going on. So they wrote, quote, "Well, RCP polls must be as fake as MSNBC and the New York Times now. There's no way in hell Trump's approval is higher now. Everyone I know, including myself, are done with Trump. He's definitely better than Kamala, and I don't regret voting for him, but he's no longer America first." Next, I have a video about a couple who voted for Trump in 2020 and 2024. And in fact, 2020 was their first vote ever. It was the first time that either of them had voted, and they decided to go for Trump. They now regret their votes because of this. So take a look at this video.
Think anything of it. We're an American citizens. We're on U.S. soil. Why should we be afraid?
George and his wife Esmeralda say an unmarked SUV started following them and pulled them over. They say Border Patrol agents first approached wearing masks.
Who does that? Criminals do that. Robbers and thieves do that.
So she started to record.
So the reason why we're stopping you is because you did U-turns and there's a known alien out in the area.
He told the agents where they were going and that they did not consent to any search.
If you have a dentist appointment, it probably wasn't the best decision to be out in the middle of nowhere.
No, we have the right to travel anywhere we want to travel.
Right, you do. You're absolutely right, you do. And I actually have the right and authority to stop you.
Why are we not allowed to be here? Because we're not white? Our skin doesn't match.
George and Esmeralda both voted for the first time in 2020 and again in 2024 for President Donald Trump. As they see his immigration crackdown,
do you regret your vote?
Yes, I do. Very much so. I feel shame, guilt, and anger at the same time.
So, I mean, I know I've said this before, but it always shocks me to hear someone who never bothered to vote before in their life, and then they decide to pull the trigger for the worst candidate in history, right? And especially as a Hispanic person. I mean, the guy literally stole people's children and their babies in his first term. Hundreds have still never been reunited with their parents. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? To put it plainly. And, you know, I'm glad they regret their votes, but come on. Like, they're obviously old enough as well to know what he did in his first term. And yet they didn't vote for him in his first term, but then they vote for him in 2020 and then again in 2024. Are you kidding me? So some people should just sit it out. Some people don't have the common sense to vote, and I hope that they do just sit it out. Another Hispanic man who is having second thoughts about his vote is Ivan. So Ivan is somebody who responded to a post about Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel was on a podcast recently. I don't know if you guys caught this, but he made the comment that, oh yeah, I got my citizenship in another country. I think it was like Italy or something. And he said, you know, if things get too bad, then I might just leave the country, which is so chicken shit. But anyway, here is what this guy wrote in response. There might be a slim group, and I mean very slim group, who regret voting for Trump. I will say this, I am absolutely not pleased. Middle class needs relief. I could care less about these political W's. So, doesn't care, you know, because somebody was like all giddy about Jimmy Kimmel maybe leaving the country over Trump. So this guy's like, I don't really care about that. He needs to help the middle class. Another Twitter user, this person's name is Pat. Pat responded to a woman who said that she doesn't regret voting for Trump. And Pat told her, quote, I resent being forced to vote for him 3 times. It's hard to regret not voting for the village idiot. His high tariffs and mass deportations are a perfect formula for high inflation. Not exactly worded, you know, properly. Not written as I would have written it. I think I know what Pat was trying to say. I think he meant like it's hard not to regret voting for the village idiot. But anyway, in any case, he is exactly right. He's right about everything he said. I found this next Twitter post, which was in response to someone saying that Democrats are now admitting that they were wrong about Trump, which, like, really dream on, as if, right? At the risk of sounding like a Valley girl, like as if. Anyway, so this person responded and said, quote, knowing what I know now about Trump and everything I regret voting for Trump, I am a Christian nationalist. I owe no allegiance to Israel. We have to cut ties with him. I won't have confidence in Trump unless we completely cut ties with Jews. I'm fucking sick of it. I read that as it was written. There was not a single comma, not a period, like nothing, nothing. And then this other person responded to a tweet from a video from Steve Bannon's show. So in the video, one of Bannon's guests was ignorantly saying, well, we don't need foreign workers in the US because all of these jobs are being lost due to artificial intelligence. Like, seriously? Like, such a freaking moron. I've shared with all of you guys how farmers readily admit that Americans will not take the jobs that they're offering. And you sure as hell aren't going to see white collar workers out in the fields picking crops or picking trees. Like, what is this guy thinking? That's who's losing their jobs right now because of AI. It's not blue collar workers who are used to, getting their hands dirty and working hard jobs, backbreaking jobs. You're talking about white collar workers. They're going to go out and pick crops. Oh, okay, guy. Yeah. Anyway, so someone responded to him and this person said, quote, "At real Donald Trump is failing us. I regret volunteering for his campaign, donating, and voting for him. He is completely unbothered by all our lives being irreparably destroyed. AI will not create anywhere close to as many new jobs as it will destroy. Do something now," in all caps, and then looks like 10 or more exclamation points. So yeah, not falling for it. Like I said, this guy was such a moron to suggest like, oh, well, AI is taking jobs, so those people will just go out and start doing what all the Hispanic people have been doing. Really? So yeah, Trump voters are not happy with him on many fronts. Sad to say, but we should probably hope that he keeps doing what he's doing. I know it sucks because a lot of good people are getting hurt. It seems like the only chance we have, though. It's the only chance we have of getting rid of this sociopath someday and killing off the MAGA cruelty. Because as I said at the beginning of his term, until they experience it, until they feel the backlash, they're not going to give a damn. So that's what's happening right now. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel if you have not. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.